This is TransAfricaRadio.
In the studio, I'm joined by Andrew Herold. He's a screenwriter and, of course, an author, director, and many other caps that he wears, but also very, very good looking. And, of course, to see his wonderful face, you can check it out on our YouTube page when the video comes through on Tuesday. So check it out over there. And we also have a podcast available of this conversation. So just go over to TransAfricaRadio.net to go catch it all there. Talking everything about screenplaying, screenwriting, movies, and more importantly, the movie Dora's Piece. And do you think that there's enough space coming in now for movies that aren't Hollywood based to start making traction in the world?
I think there is. I personally love Hollywood. I don't know where we would be without Hollywood.
Yeah.
But there is scope for all kinds of movies, I think, and Hollywood is just a part of it.
Yeah.
And the rest of the world, they're doing their thing without Hollywood, most of the time.
Yeah. I appreciate the wonders of Hollywood and the fact that because of Hollywood we're able to now start seeing what a good movie is and what a bad movie is. You sort of need to up your game for you to battle with the best in the world.
And there are screenwriters in Hollywood who make a fortune and have never had a movie made. That's the irony of it.
And also, where is Andrew's fortune? Can we get a screen? Can someone from Hollywood call you up so we can have?
That would be great. I would love to go there and just do a couple of movies and come back.
And of course, because I'll charge a finder's fee of 20%, you and I will both be quite happy.
No problem.
Underscore Leroy _Marc, so you can find us on Twitter. Send us through. But let's talk about Dora's Piece and the world of movies for me seems to be a weird saturation. You get your what is the word? Stripes. You earn your stripes, and you release a few movies, and then you become big blockbuster Quentin Tarantino movies and all the like that. But good stories always end up being, sort of shunned to the best foreign film category at the Academy Awards, and even then, the rumors have been quite rife that the Hollywood foreign press, will not give a good movie, a foreign movie. The best foreign movie of that year, necessarily, but it depends on the climate. Very much like a Miss South Africa thing,
Why
right?
are they giving the Hollywood foreign press such a hard time? I think they do a wonderful job.
Do you think
the Golden Globes is wonderful?
Yeah. Do you think they have I don't know. I might disagree with you there. I
think it's a bit of a problem with awards because basically, you take the Oscars. You got 5 movies up for an award. You got 5 actors up. And any of them, if they won, they would be quite. It would be. It would be right, because, at the end of the day, it's somebody's opinion.
Interestingly enough, I just got a question on WhatsApp right now, Andrew, and the question is, good evening, what makes SA movies not to be as catchy as compared to Hollywood movies? What are they not doing?
Okay, then can I give a totally biased reply? And I would say the screenplay.
They're not hiring you, Andrew. But there
Absolutely.
There is a certain misfire, I think, because how my view of that question is not necessarily that the movie's bad. It's not catchy. It's that the people on the ground who are watching it are still consuming too much of the wrong stuff.
That could be, but you've got to attract the right people to come and see your movie.
Yeah.
If they're not coming, it means that you're not doing something right.
But then, what is the formula? What are the stories not relevant to the people who are watching the movies, or is are we writing too far out? Are we writing beyond what the people can grasp and reach? Shouldn't there be some sort of symbiosis between the subject matter and to whom will consume the subject matter?
I don't know if you can say that, because even in Hollywood, Hollywood has the money, so they can release 10 movies. Maybe one of them is going to be a blockbuster, and maybe another 2 are going to make money, but the rest are going to lose money.
Yeah.
They don't know which are the ones that are going to reach the audience. I think it's a similar case here in Africa, some of the movies are going to find an audience and others are not. Doesn't mean that they're not good movies. It just means that at that particular time, Like they didn't.
And is it a matter of that sometimes the movie also has to have a timing factor to it, that you have to release the movie at the right time? I mean,
like it's very difficult to do that, because I mean, like in the case of Dora's piece, I mean, like I think it's 8 years since we started writing.
Yeah.
Like the screenplay was done like a long time like before it got to be made, you know.
Yeah.
So like you can't time anything. Like you just can't. I mean, like if it happens to hit some kind of particular zeitgeist, like then it's just luck.
You really hope that it strikes and luck is on your side, because I think it's the interesting thing about it is you tell a story and you start telling a story 8 years before, and it gets released, sort of 8 years later, and you hope that the subject matter is strong enough, you hope that the characters were strong enough, that the story was strong enough, that the casting was strong enough for you to still sustain it whatever happens all those years later. Will there come a time when movie making becomes so formulistic that you don't actually need to have those variable components ever be an issue?
No, I don't think so. I think you can say that lots of Hollywood movies are kind of formulaic. You know, they just kind of the churning out like the same kind of thing. I mean, sequels. I mean, like there was like a very there's a very well-known screenwriter. Like who says that all sequels are basically whores movies. Can I say that on it? Because basically they are only existing like in order to make money.
Sorry.
And there's a good argument for that.
Well, true, because I don't believe in sequels. I believe that sequels are sort of the red-headed stepchildren of the great movie that started. I think every movie I've watched that has a sequel to it the sequel has always been significantly worse. From the Die Hard franchise all the way to the Matrix franchise, which was my favorite movie, to now we've got Fast and the Furious. Where are we now? Are we at 13, 14?
I think it's 9.
Yeah, I have absolutely no plot. And you can only drive a car that fast, that many ways, that many sideways for it to explode and the gunfire to happen that way. So
but it's still making money.
But why is that when the story is so thin? What makes these bad movies still sell?
Well, even with like something like the Fast and Furious franchise, I mean, like at the end of the day, you still need a good screenwriter who is going to craft a story that is going to work. I mean, like you can't just have like car chases. There's got to be something that's going to connect it. Like, and our screenwriters who are writing those movies and they're doing very well. Thank you very much. Yeah.
What would you say in this industry, especially in the movie making industry, are the 5 people that you need to be really good for you to have a great movie? For me to, pop out a great Dora's piece, one of the 5 people who are need to be in there, not names but functions.
Okay, you need to have like a great screenwriter. And you need to have like a great casting director, like a great producer, and a great director.
Yeah.
I think if you have those 4, I think that you're on to a winner.
Whose responsibility is it for the movie to be what we see at the end? From when you hand over the screenplay to us watching it on camera, who is the most important person responsible for that? Who do we blame when you're unhappy?
Well, it's basically the director. I mean, like, I don't want to blame the director at all. I mean, like, he did a wonderful job. He really did a wonderful job. And I'm happy to work with him again. We're working on other projects. But basically, film is a director's medium. Mm-hmm. And if the director is not on par, you're not going to get a very good movie.
Do you find that there's some indulgence with the directors, that they end up not telling the story for the story's sake, but end up telling the story for their sake?
Yeah, but then that's a bad director. You've got to serve the story. I mean, whatever you do has to serve the story.
These awards that are coming through, I mean, the AMAA's 2017 awards are coming through. You were nominated in categories, some of them for some of best makeup, the technicalities over there, and a few other categories. I'm just trying to get
costume,
costume,
and then there's and then there's Pabalo, who's nominated, I think, for best.
Pabalo, young promising actor.
Yes.
That's Pabalo Koza, who plays Peace in Dora's Peace. Why do you think that the South African market is not receiving you as well as they should? If Boston is listening and Beijing is listening and the AMAAs are listening, what are we missing?
That's a good question, and I can't really give you a good answer. I think that I don't know, maybe South Africa is too close to it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been said that how they don't want depressing stories. I don't think that Dora's Peace is a depressing story. But some people have seen it that way. I don't know whether that has kind of counted against it. It wasn't released in that many cinemas, and so I think for the number of cinemas that it was released in, I think we did pretty well.
This is TransAfrica Radio.